Okay, good morning everyone. So let's discuss the third topic of our um, hematology midterm lecture, which is our lymphoid leukemia. So today, these are our objectives. So again, unang-una is to how to diagnose our lymphoid leukemias, then describe our different morphologic characteristics, then to identify different surface markers that are used to classify these leukemias, then discuss the chromosomal abnormalities if there are any, and differentiate between the subtypes of lymphoid leukemias using key laboratory results and the peripheral blood findings. So again, let's review, no? We have different hematologic neoplasms. We have leukemias in the form of our B and T cell leukemias, no? We have lymphomas, which originates in the tissues but can also circulate in the peripheral blood. And lastly, to which we already discussed for these past few meetings, is our myeloid proliferations rather and their neoplasms. So again, to differentiate our leukemia, their cell of origin is in the bone marrow. We have the lymphoid and myeloid lineages, kaya they're named as ALL or acute lymphoblastic or AML or acute myeloid. So again, these leukemias, depending on the predominant cell that are present in the bone marrow and peripheral blood, if more of immature or precursor cells, then that is acute, or if more of mature cells ang meron, that is chronic. Leukemias, lymphomas rather, on the other hand, are solid tumors of our lymphoid cells. Again, they originate in the lymphatic system, okay? But even though they mostly proliferate in the lymph nodes, we have some lymphomas that can also circulate in the peripheral blood. Examples of which, no, are our chronic lymphocytic leukemia or small lymphocytic leukemia. No, these are neoplastic cells seen in blood, but can also involve the solid organs, which is your spleen and lymph nodes. And we also have the mantle cell lymphoma, which are lymphoma nga siya, but the cells may be found in the peripheral blood smear. So, what are the common genetic abnormalities in our mature lymphoid neoplasms? Most of the time, we identify genetic abnormalities in their immunoglobulin, lalo na if it's a B cell origin, or a gene defect in the T cell receptor if it is in the T cell. So we have different types of mutation. So if one gene or one single gene is mutated, then it will lead to an altered protein product. Recall your central dogma of life where our proteins are coded into triplets or codons, and depending on this codon, we will generate one protein. Now, if any one of that codon is unaltered, meaning an individual gene mutation, then mag-change din yung protein na maproproduce. We can also appreciate chromosomal translocation, no? Ito yung mga walang kamatayang Philadelphia chromosome na translocation 922 or siguro may inversion sa chromosome 16 or chromosome 14 which results to an altered gene expression or signal transduction. Okay? So here are the different chromosomal and gene abnormalities for different leukemias and lymphomas that we will discuss. Okay? All right. Okay, now the World Health Organization classified our mature lymphoid neoplasms depending on the cell of origin. So it may be a B cell, or it may be a plasma cell, or it may be T or NK cell origin. And down the line, as you can see, you will appreciate that furthermore, our leukemias are differentiated based on where are they more located. So recall your anatomy of your lymphoid tissue where we have follicular and marginal zone areas, no? We also appreciate the follicles here, and depending on where are they located, is it more located on the spleen, no? Or is it associated with a viral infection or your human herpes virus 8 and those associated with immune deficiency. Also included in your mature B neoplasms is our classic non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, plasma cell neoplasms, the more problem with this is because they are plasma cells, then might be associated with your production of your immunoglobulins. such that we have monoclonal gammopathies, no? So may pinoproduce na immunoglobulin, be it IgM, IgG, or so on and so forth. And we also have diseases with monoclonal immunoglobulin deposition. Then, as down the line, we also have here our mature T and NK cell neoplasms. Those that are highlighted in red are those that will be discussed for today. Okay. So again, how do we diagnose our mature lymphoid neoplasms or mature leukemias? So most of the time, these leukemias are asymptomatic, but sometimes they might have a fulminant disease. When you say fulminant disease, patient appears toxic with pallor, splenomegaly, thrombocytopenia, sometimes presenting with severe infections, no? But common to these diseases, they have non-specific signs and symptoms, no? Very common, as you can see here, is our fever, night sweats, weight loss, and lymphadenopathy. So, common to your or unique to your Hodgkin's lymphoma is your painless cervical lymphadenopathy. So, ang inyuhang, the neck of your patient will have a lot of lymphadenopathy. Usually, they are firm. They are firm to touch. Usually, mga enlarged, no? Mga 2 to 3 centimeters and madami sa neck. Now, when you appreciate now, parang mga nodules, no? Or kanang parang masyang butoy-butoy, no? Sa inyong skin. Then, on top of that, you can appreciate some blast. Consider a tumor involvement. Now, if more so, T-cell neoplasms more commonly involve our skin, no? And ang pinaka-important sa ating lymphomas, these are lymphomas, no? Is our systematic B symptoms, no? Ano yung mga systematic B symptoms? Itong hanapin. May unexplained weight may unexplained weight loss ba ang patient or more than 10% weight loss in 6 months? May unexplained systematic fever ba despite antibiotic, hindi natitreat, no? Of more than 38 degrees centigrade? Or nagkakaroon ba ng night sweats ang patient? The presence of RB symptoms are one of the prognostic factors in our lymphoma. So, kaya hinahanap talaga ito, no? So, in patients with Hodgkin lymphoma, we had other specific features. They may present with alcohol intolerance, pruritus, and they may develop skin rash after starting ampicillin. So, tawag namin sa kanila nito is ampicillin rash. So, what are the different diagnostic procedures to do? Very basic, no? Start muna tayo sa CBC, no? To identify if there is the presence of blast or kung anong common na mga morphology na meron sa CBC. Number 2, peripheral blood smear. Number 3, flow cytometry. And number 4, immunotyping. So, immunophenotyping, this is very important so that we know the lineage of cells. First, is it a B, T, or NK cell? Second, if it's a B cell, is it a plasma cell or a pre-B cell, pro-B cell, or is it a pre-pro B cell? Then, if it is a T cell, on the other hand, is it a T helper or T cytotoxic or T regulatory T cell? And yung NK cell na. Then, fluorescence in situ hybridization to identify your different abnormalities, no, in your molecular study, kung may mga translocations ba, no, yung mga BCR-ABL, no, or yung mga MYC mutation or BCL2 mutation, biochemical analysis, so ito yung mga blood works natin, no. So usually in patients with leukemia and lymphoma, what are the different chemistry tests that we request? We request for ESR and CRP. These are inflammatory markers, no? Usually, patients with high ESR and CRP has a high level of disease, no? Number 2, we need to identify the tumor burden or gaano kalala or gaano kadami ang cell. An indirect marker of your tumor burden is your LDH, no? So, yan, we request for LDH, no? We request for ESR. Then, down the line, iniisip mo kasi kung magti-treat ka na, you have to identify other diseases, no? Kaya we also test for HIV, hepatitis B. We also rule out TB because if may ganitong mga sakit, we have to treat them first or concurrently while doing chemotherapy. Okay? So again, these are the different immunophenotypes of our mature lymphoid neoplasms. Kindly review them. Okay? So again, recall kung ano yung mga identifying markers ng ating B and T cell, right? So usually pag T cell, we have the pan-T cell receptor, which is CD3. No, then we may appreciate CD8 or CD4. Then if it's on more on the B cell line, we have your CD19, CD20. Then if NK cell, then yung mga CD56 natin. So yun. Yeah. So we also do in lymphoma, we also do an excision biopsy, which is the gold standard. Then we also do imaging studies. Why? We want to know the extent of your tumor involvement, and number two, if there is a presence of your metastasis. This is important in your staging. Okay, so with that, that may imaging studies tayo for staging, then let's discuss our different staging, no? We have two types of staging. We have Ann Arbor and Lugano classification. So, based on RODAX, Ann Arbor staging is usually used for Hodgkin's lymphoma, and Lugano classification is more used in your non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. But based on the recent studies, no, based on what we are doing now in the medical field, we just use and no Lugano staging or Lugano classification is also used for Hodgkin's lymphoma. But let's just focus ourselves on RODAX na sabi niya Lugano is for non-Hodgkin's, okay? But in reality, Lugano is used in Hodgkin's lymphoma also, okay? So, yun, as you can see here, what are the difference between your Ann Arbor and Lugano? So actually, it's more the same, but your stage 2, meron tayong tinatawag na bulky. Then as you can see, meron din dito sa advanced disease, both sides of the diaphragm. Then sa 4, additional non-contiguous extralymphatic involvement. But actually, they are just the same. Okay, as you can see. Mas complex lang si Ann Arbor as compared to your Lugano. Okay? Now, important also is to prognosticate your patient. So we have different prognostication index, no? But more common to your leukemias is your internal prognostic index, no? Such that ang mga factors dito, we determine the age, no? Our age of more than 60 has a poor prognosis. A high tumor burden or high serum LDH has a poor prognosis. We have what we call as performance status or ECOG performance status. So ito yung how affected is the quality of life of our patient, no? Such that patient with high ECOG performance status will have poorer prognosis, no? Then we also have here the stage is limited or advanced, no? Or extranodal involvement. Does it involve one site only or more than one site? Such that those with low risk has a better 5-year overall survival, no? Then down the line, kung high risk ka, you have a low 5-year overall survival. Now for your follicular lymphoma, we have different characteristics or risk factors to check, no, for their prognosis. So please, you can see here, can you direct yourselves here? These are for your follicular lymphoma, okay? Not the rest, we use this IPI. Now, let's discuss first our leukemias, okay? So, again, yung ating mature lymphoid neoplasms, leukemias sa blood ang origin, sa blood or bone marrow, lymphomas sa lymph node, spleen, and extranodal side, meaning sa endothelial system. Again, they are not mutually exclusive. Recall your CLL, okay, where they can be found also sa yung spleen, and also recall your one other lymphoma that can also be seen in your blood. Now, again, these mature lymphoid neoplasms are neoplastic transformation of normal lymphoid cells at various stages of your development. And they are based on morphology and their cell differentiation. Okay, so kindly familiarize yourself as to what types of leukemia or lymphoma has an aggressive disease or indolent disease. No? So again, their signs and symptoms, they may appear asymptomatic, no, and they're non-specific. Very important is you look for your B symptoms and they have an increased inflammatory markers. So yon, approach to diagnosis. Again, sa CBC, we will appreciate lymphocytosis. Sa flow cytometry, we have to identify the degree in maturation, no? We do fluorescence in situ hybridization, bone marrow aspirate, no? To do the immunophenotyping to establish the lineage of interest, no? Then we do molecular testing. Again, your biochemical analysis to evaluate the tumor burden of your lymphoma or leukemia. Then it's also used to assess prognosis. So your gold standard is your excisional biopsy. So what are the parang caveats or pitfalls ng ating laboratory diagnosis? So sabi nila, some lymphoid neoplasms are characterized by some mismatch in antigenic patterns not found in your normal mature cells. So sometimes daw ang iyong cell no parang walang marker. So say for example, walang CD3 or siguro walang CD19 or CD20 for your B cell. Or minsan nagkakaroon ng gain of marker na dapat originally this is a B cell neoplasm but nagkaroon siya ng CD3, no? So yun, nagkakaroon din ng um, parang pagkakamali sa sa identification because of this mismatch of your antigenic patterns. So again, your Ann Arbor staging is used for Hodgkin's lymphoma. Then your Lugano is for your non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, first, let's go back sa ating pinakaunang leukemia, like, no, sa our acute lymphoblastic leukemia. So, again, the disease ALL is a disease of your childhood and adolescence. It is made up of 25% of your childhood cancers and the most common type of your leukemia. Peak incidence is between 2 to 5 years old and the risk increases with age. Again, recall our lymphoid cell line has B and T cells. So we have two types. We have B type ALL, which most of the time our patient will manifest with fatigue, fever, and cutaneous bleeding because of the bone marrow infiltration of our leukemic cells, replacing now the normal cells, no? And since we also have infiltration to different organs, we may appreciate enlargement of our lymph nodes or lymphadenopathy, enlargement of our spleen or splenomegaly, and hepatomegaly. We may appreciate also again bone pain because of the blast infiltration sa ating bone marrow, and we appreciate decreased neutrophil count regardless of your total WBC count. Now, T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia mostly appear as a large mediastinal mass, no? It has similar signs and symptoms with your B-type ALL and has less severe of leukopenia. So our B-type ALL have 11 subtypes. Then our T cell ALL, no, we have different gene rearrangements sa T cell receptor in 50 to 70%, and it is further subcategorized into an early T precursor lymphoblastic leukemia or T cell type ALL not otherwise specified. So again, we already discussed this on your prelims, no? Then we just group your leukemias based on their different molecular abnormalities and subgroup them into a good or intermediate or bad prognosis, no? So, what can we appreciate sa acute lymphoblastic leukemia, di ba? Your French, American, British classification subgroup your acute lymphoblastic leukemia kung malaki or maliit. Kaya, yung morphology na ma-appreciate din natin, we have small lymphoblasts, no? Or yung L1 natin. with 1 to 2.5 times normal lymphocyte size, with scant blue cytoplasm and indistinct nucleoli, no? Then, kung malaki, then that is your larger lymphoblast with prominent nucleoli, no, here, nucleoli here, and nuclear membrane irregularities. So, the prognosis of our ALL is dependent on first, age at the time of diagnosis, the lymphoblast load, the immunophenotype presence, and again, your genetic abnormalities. But our ALL has a good prognosis overall. Paano kung what are the risk factors of parang kung makita mo ito, it might be a worse outcome, no? When the peripheral blood smear has a lymphoblast of 20 to 30, maybe if there is a presence of hepatosplenomegaly and lymphadenopathy. So again, immunophenotyping is very important in determining the lineage of your leukemia cells, no? So common to both your B cell type ALL and T cell type ALL again is the presence of your CD34, your terminal dinucleotidyl na enzyme, which is or TDT, and HLA-DR. This is common sa two, no? So meaning if you want to identify if the cell line is lymphoblast or lymphoid in origin, you find these three. However, if you want to further subclassify it, kung B cell or T cell siya, then you have to find this one. Kung B cell, CD19, CD20, then your cytoplasmic mu. Kung T cell, you find your CD2, CD3, CD4, CD8. Okay? This one. So kindly familiarize again yourself with this one. So, what are the different genetic and molecular findings that we might appreciate? So, sa T cell ALL, no, we appreciate the gain of function mutation in the Notch1 gene. So, sa B cell type or B cell type ALL, we have the translocation in chromosome that is 922. That is your BCR-ABL or your Philadelphia chromosome, which has the worst prognosis. Then again, yung KMT2A rearrangement for your infants, again with poor prognosis. And the good prognosis is your ETVX1X1 mutation. Again, guys, this one is translocation T922. Okay? Sorry lang, kulang ang pagkaano. Okay? So, next, let's go on, no, sa ano yung mga disease na present ni Rodak, no? We have mature lymphocytic leukemias, okay? So first, we have our chronic lymphocytic leukemia or small lymphocytic leukemia. So this is the most common leukemia in the adult population, mostly comprised of your B lymphocyte, okay? Then they are the disease of older adults. Their median age is 69 years old, predominantly affecting males, and most of the time they are asymptomatic. So these type of leukemias are accidentally diagnosed. Now, your international workshop on chronic lymphoid leukemia said that for you to diagnose CLL, there should be sustained presence of at least 5, no, is to 10 is to 9 per liter of circulating B lymphocytes with documentation of clonality by flow cytometry. Okay? So, ito yung criteria. Okay? So, what is the morphology of our CLL? We appreciate small and mature cells with minimal cytoplasm, as you can appreciate here, and a dense nucleus with condensed chromatin pattern and inconspicuous nucleolus. So, parang hindi mo ma-appreciate asa naman ang nucleolus dere. So, sabi nila, the chromatin appears to have a cobblestone appearance and the nucleus appears like a soccer ball, pepperoni pizza, or cracker. Pero to which, personally, saan ba ang soccer ball dito? Hindi ko ma-appreciate din. Okay? But ito yung sabi nila na description. Now, in chronic lymphocytic leukemia, we may appreciate also the presence of your pro-lymphocytic na type, no? Or pro-lymphocyte, no? So, what are pro-lymphocyte, no? These are we have few larger lymphocytes with clefted forms, no, which are found also sa ating CLL. And these are medium to large lymphoid precursor cells characterized by your, as you can see here, let me just magnify, no, oval, round or oval, no nucleus with moderately condensed chromatin, light blue cytoplasm, no, and your single prominent central nucleolus. Okay? So, ano yung ating pro-lymphocytes? So, they represent the transitional maturation stage between your lymphoblast and mature lymphocytes, no? So, sabi ni Rodak, if we appreciate the presence of more than 15% pro-lymphocytes in our bone marrow or PBS, no, the diagnosis is further defined is as pro-lymphocytic progression of your CLL or SLL. Pero pag less than 15%, then still a CLL pa rin ito. Kasi meron kasi tayong ano, ah pro-lymphocytic leukemia din. Okay, so again, pag less than 15%, that is your CLL. Pag more than 15%, that is pro-lymphocytic progression of your CLL. Okay, we may appreciate also the presence of our smudge cells. So smudge cells are fragile, chronic lymphocytic leukemia lymphocytes damaged during your peripheral blood smear preparation. So sometimes, hindi ito na-identify and sometimes they are just counted as lymphocyte. So Rodak said that if we appreciate more than 30% of your smudge cells, they are a marker of a better prognosis. So, since this is a B cell type of leukemia, what are the markers that should we look for, no? Again, find for your CD19, CD20, and CD23. But again, di ba sabi natin dun earlier, nagkakaroon ng problem in identification, no? Ito, no? Yung pitfalls na some lymphoid neoplasms are characterized by mismatch. No? As you can see here, nagkaroon ng gain of marker dito, no? So, as you can see, nagkaroon ng CD5 na marker, which is a T-cell antigen. And this is one of your identifiers na this leukemia is a CLL type. Now, sabi nila, the peripheral blood smear may suffice for diagnosis for your uncomplicated patients, no? So, paano yan siya? So, you have to, score 1 point for each of the following based sa iyong immunophenotyping. Is there a weak expression of your surface immunoglobulin? Is there an expression of your CD5, as you can see here? Is there an expression of your CD23? With no expression of your FMC7 or and absent or weak expression of your CD22 or CD79B. Now, a score of 4 or greater is consistent with your CLL. However, if low ang score, you look for other diagnosis. So, kung we have Ann Arbor staging and Lugano classification for your lymphomas, we have the Rye classification and Binet classification for prognosis of staging and prognosis of your CLL, no? So, they categorize the risk of their patients based on the degree of organomegaly and lymphadenopathy or compromise of your marrow function. So, the right classification and Binet classification are based on your clinical criteria, and prior to upstaging, we must rule out first autoimmune cytopenia. So as you can see here sa right classification, we have a low risk or stage 0 if may more than 5 na lymphocytosis, intermediate risk if may splenomegaly or hepatomegaly or lymphadenopathy, high risk if may signs na of parang bone marrow involvement, no? Which is nagkakaroon na ng anemia and thrombocytopenia. On the other hand, sa Binet classification, ito as you can see, if sa stage A, if okay pa yung hemoglobin and platelet, more than 10 and more than 100, with less than 3 and large nodal areas. Stage B, same hemoglobin and hematocrit, but the difference is more than equal or more than 3 na ang enlarged nodes. Sa stage C, if mababa na ang hemoglobin and platelet, and any number of enlarged nodal areas. No? So, what are the different genetic abnormalities in your CLL. So again, since this is a B cell type na disorder, most of the time we may appreciate the heavy chain immunoglobulin gene mutation, no, which is a marker for your CLL or SLL subtypes, no. So based on the the presence of your heavy chain immunoglobulin gene, no, they can subdivide your CLL, SLL into two subtypes. If we have a presence of the mutation, then this is a mature type, no, or mature phenotype, and these positive IGHV mutation has a better outcome. And then if walang mutation, then that is a less mature cell and they have a more aggressive course, no? Karyotyping also is a strong predictor of your survival, such as the deletion of your chromosome 17p and TP53 mutation indicates a worse prognosis. Then what are the different cell markers with poor prognosis, no? When you find the presence of CD49D, which it has a higher proliferative capability, if we have CD38 and ZAP-P70 or your tyrosine kinase na marker. So, in the older times, the first line of treatment of your CLL is your alkylating agents in the form of chlorambucil and cyclophosphamide. Then down the line, pumasok si nucleoside analogs, which is your fludarabine. Then, recently, pumasok na yung ating targeted treatment. Pinakauna dyan is your anti-CD20 antibody or your rituximab. Again, because this is a B-cell type, no, na leukemia. So again, when you study these types of leukemias or lymphomas, very important talaga first to identify, is it a B-cell type or a T-cell type? Such that if you are faced with the question of treatment or prognosis, titingnan nyo kung ano ang mode of action, no? So, as you can see, by process of elimination, if you know that the leukemia type is B cell type, then you just look for a targeted therapy that targets your B cell, no? Which is your anti-CD20 antibody. But, dito tayo nagkakatalog kung ang choices nyo ay may other yung hindi siya anti-CD20. So, yun, depende na yan siya sa kung ano yung may genetic abnormality. So, we have the Bruton tyrosine kinase inhibitor. Bakit may ganyan? Why? Because of your ZAP-70, ZAP-P70, which is a tyrosine kinase. So, you use your Bruton tyrosine kinase inhibitor, which is your ibrutinib and acalabrutinib. We have the P13K inhibitors, the idelalisib, and your BCL2 inhibitors, which is your venetoclax. Okay, so BCL2 is an anti-apoptotic mutation, and if we have this kind of mutation, then better give your BCL2 inhibitors para to promote apoptosis. Okay, so we're done with the first type of your mature leukemia. Let's proceed with our monoclonal B-cell lymphocytosis. So, our monoclonal B-cell lymphocytosis, paano siya ma-diagnose, no? We should document the monoclonal B-cell population, but ang clincher natin is less than 5 na circulating B lymphocytes. So, technically, di ba, pag more than 5, that is your CLL, SLL, no? Pero pag less than 5, hindi pa kasi siya pasok sa criteria ng CLL, kaya ito muna ang tawag sa kanya, monoclonal B-cell lymphocytosis. And one of their differentiating features, these are asymptomatic and walang mga lymphadenopathy, organomegaly, cytopenias, or systemic symptoms. And as you can see, CLL and SLL has symptoms, no? Diba? May lymphadenopathy and hepatosplenomegaly. But they can still progress to CLL, no? 1 to 2% of your patients diagnosed with B-cell lymphocytosis can progress to CLL. So, and paano siya ma-differentiate sa small lymphocytic leukemia? SLL, may less than 5, no, na circulating monoclonal B lymphocytes, but with evidence of your disease, no, may adenopathy or organomegaly. Kaya, kung as you can see earlier, CLL or SLL siya kasi may symptom, may adenopathy or organomegaly. Nagkakatalo lang kung gaano kadami ang monoclonal B lymphocytes. So again, to recall, pag MBL, less than 5, no, without disease. Pag SLL, less than 5 but with disease. CLL more than 5 but with disease. Okay? Ito ang kanilang clincher. Okay? So, di ba, sabi natin sa CLL, nagkakaroon tayo ng pro-lymphocytic forms. Kaya, ang next natin na i-discuss na leukemia is your T pro-lymphocytic leukemia or T cell type PLL. Okay? So, your TPLL makes up of 2% of your mature lymphoid neoplasms. Again, these are the disease of our elderly with the median age of your 65 years old, equal predominance sa male and female, and this is an aggressive type of your disorder. What are the different clinical manifestations? We appreciate malaking spleen, madaming WBC, no? But with pro-lymphocyte, no? Ito, more than 15, no? Then, minimal lymphadenopathy and skin infiltration. Okay? So, again, recall what are your pro-lymphocytes. These are your medium to large, rather, na lymphoid precursor cells characterized by a round or oval nucleus, no? With moderately condensed chromatin. Then, sabi nila, it has a light blue cytoplasm here. Check. No? Then, a single central prominent nucleolus here, as you can see. Okay? So, again, these are a transition between your lymphoblast and mature lymphocytes. So, ano nila, dati, your pro-lymphocytic leukemia is subclassified as B-cell PLL or T-cell PLL. However, ngayon, the 2022 World Health Organization no longer classify this B-cell type PLL as a single entity. So, ngayon, they are now classified as MCL positive with this mutation or IGH1 CCND1 fusion gene, or yung second natin na disorder, yung CLL SLL with pro-lymphocytic progression, or splenic B-cell lymphoma or leukemia with prominent nucleoli. So wala na ito siyang category. Ito na, either of the three na siya. So what can we appreciate? No, we may appreciate also cytoplasmic protrusion or blebbing of your pro-lymphocytes. No, this one, as you can see, protrusions or blebbing, as you can see in your lymphocytes. Then, what are the immunophenotypes? We look for the presence of your TCL1 and CD7. And common chromosomal abnormality is your inversion of your chromosome 14. So, what is the standard of care, no? This is a T-cell type leukemia. Huwag kang maghanap ng rituximab. Hanap ka ng anti-CD52 antibody, no? Which is a standard of care, or alemtuzumab. So, if the patient has a relapse or resistant to your alemtuzumab, then you can do your hematopoietic stem cell transplantation. So next, let's discuss our hairy cell leukemia. So this is an indolent disease of our B cell lineage, no? We have mostly middle-aged individuals. Ito, mga 50 years old. And it primarily involves the spleen, blood, and bone marrow. So ang feature niya, we appreciate the presence of our splenomegaly and cytopenias. Now, what is a hairy B cell? Hairy B cells are ovoid or kidney bean-shaped nuclei, as you can see ovoid here, without nucleoli and abundant blue-gray cytoplasm with ragged hair-like projection extending circumferentially. Dapat circumferential ang iyahang pattern. Okay? And there might be mistaken for as monocyte. So, sa hairy cell leukemia, most of the time, makaka-appreciate tayo ng dry tap. And the immunophenotype common to this is CD20, again, because this is a B cell type. But if you want to identify specific to your hairy cell leukemia, you find annexin A, no? This is also to differentiate against other B cell type neoplasm, especially to differentiate between our hairy cell leukemia versus splenic marginal zone lymphoma. So what is the treatment? You just do splenectomy. You may also give purine analogs, which is your cladribine or pentostatin. And if we appreciate the presence of our BRAF mutation, then we can give BRAF inhibitors. And for refractory disease, we can give the Pseudomonas exotoxin link recombinant anti-CD22 antibody, moxetumomab. Okay, and they are important or effective for your relapsed refractory disease. Then lastly, we have here our large granular lymphocytic leukemia. So our large granular lymphocytic leukemia has an abundant pale blue cytoplasm with medium to large azurophilic granules, no? So, um, the large granular lymphocytes, no, normally is present as 15% of your circulating lymphocytes or dapat less than 0.6 lang siya in healthy adults, no? And they are counted with normal lymphocytes. However, nagiging LGL leukemia siya if we appreciate the presence of more than 2 circulating large granular lymphocytes persistent for more than 6 months in the absence of any associated condition, no? And this is a disease of older adults and asymptomatic. Again, we can appreciate LGL normally, pero usually 15% lang siya or less than 0.6. However, if 2 or more na, that is your LGL. Okay? So again, what are your large granulocytic leukemias? No, we have an abundant pale blue cytoplasm with medium to large azurophilic granules. So in close up, as you can see here sa arrow, no, ito yung ating large azurophilic granules. Okay? So it has two disease entities. No, we have the kung ang origin is your T cell, then that we have the T large granular lymphocytic leukemia, which represents clonal expansion of our cytotoxic T cells. Immunophenotype, we identify the presence of CD3, CD8, and 57, and it has the T cell receptor gene rearrangement. Then, if it's more on the NK cell line, then it is called as NK large granular lymphocytic leukemia. Again, it is CD3 negative kasi hindi siya T cell. Then it is CD56 positive with a restricted KIR expression, no? And this is the more aggressive form of the two. So how do you treat this one? We can use myeloid growth factors if we have isolated neutropenia, and you can also give immunosuppressive agents. So I guess this is it for our matured lymphoid neoplasms. In our next lecture we will discuss your um, lymphomas. So again, ano ang atake sa lymphocytic leukemias? First, determine is it a B cell type or a T cell type, no? Number two, how do we categorize this type of leukemia? Like say for example, kung sa CLL, presence of at least 5 na circulating B lymphocytes, no? Then what are the morphology of this type of leukemia, no? Then kung sa promyelocytic, no? Paano yun siya? Yung more than 15% na pro-lymphocyte, no? Then what are the different markers that warrants good or bad prognosis? And paano yung mga targeted treatment natin? Okay? So, thank you and good morning.